Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
Has concluded.
The DMVSTREAM.COM play.
Sean Parker along with Nick Allison.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to dig it out of the board. And they score!
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the PrepZone at DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Deja Adams, joined by Derek Kramer and Brenton Randolph. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well, doing well.
How about you?
I'm good. Are you ready for football season?
Can't
I
wait.
am.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Before we get into today's episode, let's go ahead and take a peek at the games we'll be recapping. Highlighted here, we have Battlefield versus Hilton, as well as we'll be doing some previews of West Springfield at Robinson, Oakton at Madison, as well as Damascus versus Quince Orchard. You can watch us anytime on DMVSTREAM.com or Channel 10 Fairfax Public Access. Before we jump into today's awesome recaps, let's go ahead and take a look at how to get your play included each week on All Met Sports Top Plays.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at AllMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at allmetsports.com.
Now it's time for a little weekend rewind. Let's start this off. Brenton, you're going to be covering Woodbridge versus Stonewall. Tell us a little bit about what happened at that game.
Right, I was at that game last week, and it actually turned out to be a very highly entertaining game. It was a high-scoring game, which is something that you don't always see in the season opener, and Stonewall Jackson was looking to rebound from a tough 2015 season, and on this play here, it's actually their first passing play of the season, and they caught a screen pass, and Cameron Brown took it about 60 yards for a touchdown, so that was an incredible way to start off their season opener. But Woodbridge would go on and start to take the lead and take over the game a little bit, but Stonewall Jackson, I got to give it to them, they really stayed with it, and every time it seemed like Woodbridge was about to be able to put the game away or do something like that, Stonewall Jackson would always come back and break out another touchdown run or something like that, and they would really just stay with them the whole way through. And ultimately, Woodbridge, though, would end up taking over and sealing the deal. It was about a final score of 35-28. And my player for today's game was Caleb Grant, who was a junior. It was actually his first varsity start ever, I think. And he had 10 attempts for 75 yards and a touchdown, and also 2 receptions. One of them was a 67-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter that ended up being the difference in the game.
Great. Next up, we'll be recapping Briarwoods versus Tuscarora. We have Derek Kramer that's just going to talk to us a little bit about that game. How'd it go, Derek?
Yeah, it was a great game. Briarwoods had their season opener, and their home crowd really brought the energy for them and really catapulted them to a nice 21-0 victory. Senior wide receiver Ben Maffey had 1 receiving score and 1 rushing score as well. And he's really being used as a complete offensive weapon this year. Last year he got some time as running back and a little bit of wide receiver, but this year he's really the main catalyst on their offense. The quarterback Skylar Springs also had some really nice throws and runs to complement a nice, well-balanced offensive attack. And Tuscarora, they had a tough time getting their offense running, but running back number 7, Jalen Lundy, he really showed me some good explosive runs, and he really had some really big key first downs to keep them in the game. Here you see him taking it along the edge for about a big 40-yard gain, and I think he's going to have a really good season coming up this year. Briarwoods plays South County next week, which should be a pretty tough game, but they look like they have some really key players that can really bring it. So here's Ben Maffey, a senior H-back wide receiver. He had 1 20-yard reception and also a 7-yard rush. And he also was the receiving part of a nice flea flicker that Briarwoods ended up having in the first half, and it was a really explosive play to really get the offense started.
Great. I'll be reviewing Battlefield versus Hilton. Let me just start off by saying that this game definitely took a turn for the better for Battlefield. Started out, Hilton was in the lead. However, Brandon Benson on Hilton, he did a 2-yard with 40.1 seconds left, which tied the game. We have Ricky Slade, a junior at Hilton, runner back, that had a 98-yard run. I will say that Hilton did have to work extra hard to recover once he injured his knee. Chris Farrell at Battlefield, a senior runner back, made a 4 to 6 yard in triple overtime, which was the game-winning touchdown, which really turned things around. Battlefield is one of the top defenses in the state, so that made it a very close match. These are two very competitive teams that came to win that night. Hilton scored a touchdown in three plays, and I will say that, it was just so neck and neck. Everyone was on their feet during this game. It was
Looks like
so it was so close, and we really didn't know how things were going to turn out. But again, Battlefield with that defensive and their new coach, he's really, really excited about this second season with them. Chris Farrell, like I said, 6-yard run in triple overtime, scored the game-winning touchdown. Really, this was an amazing game to highlight.
Yeah, really, any triple overtime game I would imagine would be
sounds like a barn
super
burner.
exciting, just
for sure.
loads of fun to be at.
We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break and take a look at DMVSTREAM.COM's partnership with USA Football as we broadcast 3 developmental games from Towson University. Next up, I'll be recapping the Arundel at Wise scrimmage game that happened on August 26th. I have some top performers during this game. Let's start off by talking about the amazing coordination between Wise quarterback Jabari Laws and wide receiver Isaiah Hazel. They really own the game they're a 2-time state champion team. So of course we expected a lot. The coaches are really excited about their upcoming season. Their play, they had a 40-yard pass resulting in an 80-yard touchdown. So it seems like the boys are really making an effort to coordinate better as a team. Anxious to see how they'll perform against Douglas this upcoming week. They lost last year 19-7. However, that was their only loss. So I will say that, after having an undefeated season in 2014, I'm sure everybody is anticipating the season opener game, and we're sure that they're going to do a great job. So next we're going to go ahead and transition over to Brenton. Brenton, who are you recapping today?
That's right. The scrimmage that I was at was the Stonebridge versus Yorktown scrimmage. And Stonebridge had a pretty good first drive, but were unable to get any points, and Yorktown responded in a big way right here. As you can see, Tanner Wall, number 11, is going to get the reception and burst out and get to the corner and has a 90-yard touchdown here.
The Jets.
Yeah, man, it was pretty crazy to start off the scrimmage. But from that point on, Stonebridge really clamped down defensively. As you can see here, there's a tip pass, and number 18, I believe Aiden McFarland was able to get the interception and take it all the way back for a touchdown. And really, Stonebridge's defense was, after that 90-yard touchdown, they really clamped down. Like, there were no more scoring plays, I don't think, from Yorktown at all after that scrimmage. But also, to give Yorktown a little bit more shine, Tanner Wall also had a fumble recovery in addition to his 90-yard touchdown. And as you can see here, Stonebridge, they have a really strong rushing attack as well. And I talked to Dan Renaud a little bit, and he was talking about how defense was their biggest strength. And as you could see, they were very strong defensively, and I expect that to carry on into the regular season.
Definitely. Thank you, Brenton. Next, we'll be going over to Derek, who's going to talk to us a little bit about the South Lakes at WT Woodson scrimmage. Derek, how'd that go?
Yeah, it was a good battle. Woodson looks like they're going to build from a little difficult season last year where they implemented their new starter, JoJo Heisley, but he's looking to carry on to have a good, promising seniors campaign. There are a lot of big plays in this game, and my key impact performer was actually Devin Miles, a quarterback dual threat from South Lakes. He looks like he's going to have a lot of explosive plays this year, and I think South Lakes is going to have a real athletic team, and they're going to have some big plays. Woodson is going to also be a really big team in the Patriot League. I think they're going to have a lot of good games. They got some tough competition in Lake Braddock and South County, West Springfield, but I think they can make some noise this year as long as they have a good, well-balanced attack, which they should with the strong offensive line that they have. And this was a good game to get a lot of the freshmen, JV, new guys up and running. They had a first two quarters of starters, and they implemented their second stringers, and it was a really high-paced game, and it was really good to see. South Lakes, I think they're going to have a good season this coming year. It's going to be interesting.
I agree, Derek. So I think it's safe to say that all of these teams are going to have a great season ahead of them based on these scrimmages. Let's go ahead and go to commercial and take a look at DMVSTREAM.com's partnership with LAC Sports Network as they broadcast the Inside Lacrosse Epic Committed Academy Championship games.
Transition with the fake, the setup, the bounce shot, and the score! Was that leader?
I think that was Pavelski. Yeah, that was Luke Pavelski. Some creativity in that way. You can kind of see a little bit.
Now it's time for the All Met Sports Weekly Preview. Derek, what game will you be previewing for today's episode?
So I'll be previewing the West Springfield at Robinson game. Last year they had a real close game, 35-25 going in favor of West Springfield. West Springfield has their quarterback Peter Musket returning, and he's a huge part of their offense, one of the top quarterbacks in Northern Virginia. Last year he had 2,704 passing yards to go along with 26 touchdowns compared to only 7 interceptions. And he also had 476 yards on the ground to go with 6 touchdowns. They lost to West Potomac in the playoffs, but this year they're going to make a lot of good noise with their senior quarterback. Robinson, on the other hand, they lost some good running backs, but Roman Lowry is really going to pick up the lead. He had 131 rushing attempts for 815 yards and 6 touchdowns, and they lost to South County in the playoffs last year in a really good matchup. But their wing T offense is really going to be a good running game. to go with their solid defense, and so I expect to see a real close game between the two of them. And I think my final prediction for the game, I think I'm going to have to go with Robinson this year. Even though Peter Musket here, he had such a good season last year, and he's really going to build on and have an even better year, in my opinion. And on the other hand, Roman Lowry, he's going to be the catalyst, the cowbell this year, and he's going to have a really good performance with this big offensive line, and he's going to really carry the team this year.
Sounds great. Next, Brenton, you'll be previewing Oakton at Madison.
That's right. It's the Outback Bowl. It's a huge rivalry game, Oakton versus Madison, and Oakton last year went 5-6, and Madison went 9-2. But as you see with these rivalry games, they always tend to be a little bit closer than what the records might suggest. And last year, one of Madison's 2 losses actually came against Oakton in the season opener. So, like I said earlier, this will definitely be a game to watch. And I mean, you don't really want to take the records into context. It doesn't really matter when it comes to rivalry games. And so for me, the player to watch for Oakton would be John Dido, the tight end. He's a returning senior this year. He had 1 touchdown, but that touchdown actually came against Madison. So he, of course, has his biggest games against the biggest rivals. So he'll definitely be somebody to look out for in this matchup again. And also for Madison, my player to watch will be Wiley Counts. I know me and Derek were talking earlier, and he really loves that name. It's really great.
Wiley Coyotes.
Yeah. So, yeah, he had 672 rushing yards and 14 total touchdowns, including 1 against Oakton last year. So he'll definitely be the guy. And also, he was first-team all-conference in 2015, so definitely somebody who will look to build on that going into this season. And as you can see there, John Dido again, the 1 touchdown, 249 yards, but the 1 touchdown, of course, coming against Madison. And for me, my pick this year will be Madison. I've got Madison winning because Oakton lost 2 of their key seniors in Sal Titone and Jarrett Bacon, and both of those players were huge in their victory over Madison last year, and I think that's going to have an impact on this game.
Sounds great. Next up, I'll be previewing Damascus and Quince Orchard, but before that, let's take a look at how DMVSTREAM.COM uses our new state-of-the-art fly pack to stream broadcasts in a quick, easy manner.
Okay, so today we're really excited to be using our Fly Pack kit, which allows us to do a powerful live stream with multiple camera inputs, an entire crew, just by simply rolling a case in to a gym or to a field or even to a basement in DC to do an event. As you can see behind me, this is the TriCaster. It's all set up. At this point, we've got 1 camera input already in. But the really cool thing about this is that it opens and closes very quickly and easily. It's got its own legs on its own stand. See all the inputs. This is where our director will be standing during the broadcast. We can run graphics right into the TriCaster from an independent computer. And then we'll also be monitoring the stream on this computer right behind it during the broadcast. If you follow me, come over this way. During the broadcast, we'll have our play-by-play and our color analyst right here at the desk. They'll be wearing these headsets, so they'll be speaking and calling the game right here is the action. It'll route right through our audio board, and then that audio board, of course, is routed back over to the TriCaster. So a really simple setup. It allows you to get in and get out quickly. We can have this set up within 20 minutes. Everything is fed right into here. A couple of converters and different things that really make this operation sing. It's the beauty of this is that we can get in and get out, do a high-powered production really quickly and simply, which allows us to lower our costs for the client.
Welcome back. We'll be previewing Damascus and Quince Orchard. Let's just say that Quince Orchard, I mean, they really have a tough match ahead of them. Damascus went 14-0 last year in the state championship, which is something we definitely need to keep in mind going into this next matchup. Quince Orchard 10-2. They lost to Damascus last year with a score of 39-17. I'd love to see the boys come on top, but to be honest, I really think that Damascus is going to still stride in that same direction that they were going in this previous season. What do you guys think in regards to this?
Yeah, after a perfect season last year, I think it's hard to say like, they're not going to come back and be just as powerful.
Right, but I mean, if there's any team that could actually pull it out, it would be probably Quince Orchard because, like you said earlier, they were 10-2 last year. So, I mean, these guys, they're definitely no slouches themselves. They definitely know how to play. So, I definitely would expect them to come out and make it a very competitive game.
Absolutely. And my players that I picked to watch, we have Marcus Vincent from Damascus, who completed 330 yards last season, along with 5 total touchdowns. Along with him, we have Marvin Beander. He's a runner back and a senior at Quince Orchard, which completed 1,200 rush yards last season, along with 22 touchdowns. 2 completely amazing players who I'm sure are going to put on their best performances upcoming season. Next up, we're going to go and take a look at, as 2011 All-Met Sports Player of the Week is previewed by Michael Niebeck. He breaks down the game tape of West Potomac senior quarterback Mark Ellis. Welcome to a new edition of the QB Academy here at DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Deja Adams, joined by 2010 All-Met Player of the Year, Michael Niebeck. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, who's the quarterback that you're going to review for us?
So our first quarterback today is going to be Mark Ellis, a senior from West Potomac. He's a 6'4", big kid with a big-time arm. But I think the thing I like the most about him is his calm footwork in the pocket. He does a really nice job moving around, keeping his feet calm, and not speeding things up when there's pressure around him. He also does a really nice job manipulating defenders with his eyes and his shoulders. And he's just a fun passer to watch. Really good, good numbers over at West Potomac. He's got a lot of good playmakers around him, so definitely primed for a good year this year.
Amazing. Let's go ahead and review some of the footage of some of Mark's best plays.
Yeah, so I want to focus here on his arm strength, and the first couple clips are going to be kind of centered around that. And I want, basically what he has here is he has a 4 vertical concept, and he's going to have a post to his backside. And he wants to, when he sees this cover 4 shell, he wants to really read that boundary safety during the play fake. And if he sees the safety bite down on the play fake, he's going to throw over the top. If he sees that safety float backwards and get into coverage, he's going to work towards the field here. So on the snap, we see he does a good job. Those first few steps, we see that safety bite in. As soon as he sees that, he knows he's going over the top. Just gives his receiver just enough time to get downfield, delivers a perfect throw, good accuracy for a touchdown. So just that little manipulation there, that's all that was needed to influence that safety and get a big play over the top. So again, just that same 4 vertical concept here, but the difference here is he doesn't have that play fake to hold that safety. So he's going to use his slot receiver down towards the bottom of the screen here to running a post to hold that safety and give his bottom receiver here towards the boundary just enough time to get over top and give him enough room as well. So here we go on the snap. Mark does a great job staring down that inside post, which influences that safety just enough, and it opens up just enough room on the sideline for him to make that outside throw right into the hole. Delivers a perfect hole shot right in between the safety and the corner for a big time play. And these are plays that you see that are staples of West Potomac's offense, just allowing Mark to throw the ball down the field, making the right reads. So this next clip here, again, just a 4 verticals concept, but I want this clip to kind of show off his manipulation of the coverage here. And I want to watch his eyes on this play as we go slow motion here. What he wants to do is he wants to stare down that safety, and he does a great job those first few steps. Let's just rewind just a little bit. Does a great job those first few steps, keeping his eyes to the right side of the screen here towards the field side. Takes his drop, looking in the opposite direction, flips his head, and that opens up just enough space down the sideline to deliver the ball, giving his wide receiver just enough room, again, down the sideline, keeping that safety away from his guy to deliver the football. Again, just a good job here by Mark Ellis, using his eyes to manipulate the coverage, delivering a perfect strike down the field for a touchdown. So this next clip here, as I kind of alluded to earlier, his calmness in the pocket with his footwork is what I want to focus on here. And I want to focus on actually 2 things. First, his feet, and then I want to focus on his shoulders. So let's go ahead first, focusing on his feet here. Now let's go back to the start. And I want to focus on how calm his footwork is here. A lot of times when you see these big time plays happen, young quarterbacks tend to rush their footwork. What he does here, perfect job, just keeping his feet calm, keeping his feet steady, getting his hips aligned. He knows he has the big play open. So he does a good job, just like I said, just getting those feet and hips all aligned together to deliver a perfect throw. So now let's go back to the beginning here, taking it one step further and manipulating the coverage. I want to focus on his shoulders on this next clip. So as we see, he takes his drop here, takes his step. That subtle shoulder twist right there is all it takes to influence those two defenders at the top of the screen. And we see right here, both of them, they see that shoulder twist. They both bite up on the guy running the out route, leaving his receiver perfectly wide open down the field. And these are plays that you see Mark Ellis do all the time throughout the course of the season. He did a lot last year, and that's where you see a lot of the big plays happen. So a very fine-tuned guy when it comes to manipulating the defenses, using his big arm to push the ball down the field. Definitely a fun passer to watch, and it should be a good senior season for him.
Thank you, Michael. If you want to see new episodes of the QB Academy, tune in to DMVSTREAM.com. Welcome to a new edition of the QB Academy here at DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Deja Adams, joined by 2010 All-Met Player of the Year, Michael Niebrick. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So who's the quarterback that you're going to review for us?
So our first quarterback today is going to be Mark Ellis, a senior from West Potomac. He's a 6'4", big kid with a big-time arm. But I think the thing I like the most about him is his calm footwork in the pocket. He does a really nice job moving around, keeping his feet calm, and not speeding things up when there's pressure around him. He also does a really nice job manipulating defenders with his eyes and his shoulders. And he's just a fun passer to watch. Really good, good numbers over at West Potomac. He's got a lot of good playmakers around him, so definitely primed for a good year this year.
Amazing. Let's go ahead and review some of the footage of some of Mark's best plays.
Yeah, so I want to focus here on his arm strength, and the first couple clips are going to be kind of centered around that. And I want, basically what he has here is he has a 4 vertical concept, and he's going to have a post to his back side. And he wants to, when he sees this cover 4 shell, he wants to really read that boundary safety during the play fake.
You can catch the rest of the episodes for the QB Academy on DMVSTREAM.com. This wraps up this week's episode of the Prep Zone. Thank you, Derek and Brenton, for joining me. I'm Deja Adams, and you can tune in, catch up with us next Wednesday, again on DMVSTREAM.com.